So hello everyone, it's your girl Gel Beauty 87 here, aka Grace, and today we're going to talk about some of my favorite palettes for Valentine's Day. So my romantic, Sweetest Day, Valentine's Day, romantic eye looks, all the pinks and, the reds and sometimes the mauvey purple type shades and the berry wine tones. We're going to talk about all of those. I hope you cannot hear my family in the background. The dryer is going, that's the noise that you're hearing. So be advised that you're gonna hear those things. But anyway, I have some affordable ones. I have some collabs from YouTubers. I have some YouTuber brands, and I have some luxury. So of course we're gonna start off with the luxury because that's my favorite. So I'm gonna start off with Mother Pat, of course, because y'all know Mother Pat was gonna be in here. She done came up with 20 rose palettes, and you thought one of them wasn't gonna be in here for a romantic love situation. You thought wrong. But yeah, I'm gonna go in with the Risque Rose palette.
Are you doing my idea now?
No. This is one of, I'm not doing any eye looks, but this is one of my favorite quads from her. This is the one that came out during the holidays. It's called Risque Rose. It is gorgeous, and it has this wonderful shade right here. Oh my god, y'all, this shade feels so amazing on the eye. And I like this little quad for like a simple look. Like you can use this pink all over the lid. You put this sparkly in the inner corner. You can dust this over the top. Or you can put this all over the lid and dust this into the crease if you want more of like a smoky look. So that's why I said more pink, purple, and berry tone vibes, because I knew this quad was in here and it exudes that to me. But it's a gorgeous quad. I like the looks I came up with it. It was my favorite quad out of all of her holiday quads. I just hate this packaging with this insert inside, because I feel like every time I go to close it back up and put it back in, that doesn't fit properly, then I have to pull the whole thing out just so I can close the box back up. It's quite annoying. Of course, y'all know I have some honorable mentions, by the way, because I can't just have, normal palettes. I have like 14 palettes. I wanted to get it down to 10, so I just made 4 honorable mentions because I'm not necessarily as in love with those as I am with the rest of them. But anyway, let's get into the next one. So y'all just saw the video for the mini version of this today on Sunday. This is the Love palette by Natasha Denona. So I actually do love this palette. When I first tried it, I had my reservations about it, but after using it a few more times, like Glam Girl Chelsea, I have come to really love this palette. I've done about 3 or 4 looks with it. Matter of fact, the only Valentine's Day look I have coming on my channel is with this palette. You all really like the eye look. Like when I did my video on my favorite eyeshadow formulas from indie brands and what was it, people of color brands and influencer brands, I had this palette on my eyes. Somebody asked me like what was on my lid and all that, because you really like the eye look, so I thought that was cool. Plus the purple look I did on Instagram that you all really liked, that I actually took a lot of time and detail into, was with this palette. So I definitely, of course, had to recommend this palette just because of all the gorgeous tones in it. Like, you have your reds, and then you have, like, your purples for somebody like me who loves them, a good purple moment. Then you have some soft pinks if you're into those type of shades. Now, these probably wouldn't show up on me that well, which is why I don't really speak on those. I usually use the reds and purples in here, but for $65, I think it's definitely something you could look into. Oh, and I forgot, the McGrath one is $58. The last expensive one I have to talk about that is an honorable mention is the new nude palette from Huda Beauty. So, y'all remember I was talking crap about how I wasn't going to get this palette because it was nude palette, it was a boring palette. I didn't realize that Huda was my spirit animal and knew what I meant by a nude palette. So when I like a nude palette, I'm thinking of berry and mauve and purplish type tones like this. So I appreciate Huda because when she does a nude palette, this is nude to her and this is nude to me. Now to me, this is an acceptable nude I will go out in and wear it constantly, and I actually really love this palette. I was thinking about doing a video on the palettes I've used in most of my collection. This would definitely fall underneath it just because it's so beautiful and it has so many nice tones to choose from. Like I like this set here, and I like this darker set here, of course, and then I like all the topper S type shades that she has in the palette as well. So to me, this is just a great palette, and this one retails for $65. I don't know if this changed, the price went up to $67, but originally when it came out it was $65. I bought it during the Sephora sale, and that's what got me to become a VIB Rouge for my first year. Next, we're going to get some more affordable ones, and then we'll end off with the influencer ones before we get into the honorable mention. So, I have 2 Juvia's Place palettes. I feel like you should know these were the ones that was coming. This is the Sweet Pinks and the Berries. So, we'll start off with the Sweet Pinks. Now, I hate this shimmery pink shade right here, but I love, like, the matte tones of pink here. Like, I love this shade right here. I especially love this one right here. I'm not that crazy about the shimmers in this palette just because I feel like a couple of them are toppers, and this is the only shimmer, and it's more of a satin type formula. But what shines in this palette for me is the mattes. Like, if you want a nice, bright matte eye look, I usually put this all over the lid, and then maybe like dust this or this over the top, and then I use one of these as the inner corner shimmer, or I'll like probably put this in the inner corner and put this shimmer on top of it or this shimmer on top of it. I just think this is a really pretty palette and it's perfect for Valentine's Day coming up. If I remember, these retail for $14. Do not quote me though, because it's been a long time since I did the review, so I can't tell you exactly if I'm right or not. This is for someone who loves more deeper tones, if you will. I have never used this shade just because it's one of those sequin shades with glitter in it, and I hate shades like that. I wanted to do another video idea too about things I don't want to see from brands anymore, and it would definitely be like this would be included, a sequin shadow. I don't want any more fucking sequin shadows. But anyway, I really like this palette. I feel like you can get some nice dark smoky berry tones for people who like smoky looks like me, but you want to keep to the tradition of the colors that people use for Valentine's Day and Sweetest Day, those romantic vibes. I feel like this would be a great palette for you, and at $14 is definitely budget friendly than the other 3 palettes I just showed you that were like in the $50s to $60 range. So the next 2 I have, believe it or not, are from Mented Cosmetics. So again, it depends on what your preference is. I have the Cherry on Top palette for those girls who like those more deeper, vampier tones. You can use this, or you can use these light, sweet cherry shades if you're more into reds for Valentine's Day, and it'll give you a gorgeous eye look. I love the way it's monochromatically set up to where you have your shimmer over top and then your matte at the bottom all the way across. Now, obviously, once it gets closer and closer to the lighter tones, I don't necessarily use those, but I feel like I can just use this to dust over all these red shades right here, and that would be fine, and every shimmer works just fine. So overall, I really like this palette. This palette retails for $18. I don't know if they have this one in stock anymore. When I went on their site, I think they only had the orange one and something else, so I don't know if you can get that one anymore. I know for a fact you can't get this one, so I hope you already have it in your collection. This is the Sweet Shop Cotton Candy palette. I really like this one. I think it's weird that there's only one set of pinks. I feel like they could have distributed more evenly than having like 3 purples and then 1 little set of pink, but that's fine. You know, like to me this is more of a like magenta purple type shade, so I guess that's why they counted it as like half pink and half purple, or maybe that's just in my mind. But I really like this palette because if you want to do, I love this shade right here. These 2 mattes here are to me some really unique matte shades, and then I like all the shimmers that they place with it as usual. I think they did a really good job with these palettes and the monochromaticness of them. I feel like they were trying to give us like, you know, color pop vibes with these, but I actually really like the quality on them too, which is they've been stepping it up lately, and I'm definitely impressed. So I would definitely recommend you get your hands on that one, or use that one if it's already in your collection when Valentine's Day comes up. So let me see if I'm still filming. Okay, so I got my last 3 influencer palettes here. So I'm going to start off with an influencer collab. This is a Smoky Glow and Mented Cosmetics collab. If you all remember, I told you I bought this palette because of Legally Living Life. I had no idea who the hell Smoky Glow was. I actually did look her up though and watch some of her videos. I actually liked her, so I ended up subscribing. But I loved the palette before I even knew who she was. Like, look how gorgeous this is. Like, I love these pink and purple vibes. Y'all know I love me a good purple moment. I don't have a problem with pinks. I usually do more purples, but you know, pinks are nice too from time to time. Like, pinks and reds are usually what I like to put together though. So for example, you see me do I look with this. I think I use this shade and like this shade and this one. I always have to use the shade Lino and Nutty when I reach to this palette because I feel like they're just some of the best and prettiest shimmers there are. But you have your neutral tones if you just want to do a simple smoky eye for Valentine's Day and you don't want to have to use a whole bunch of color. You can use some of these shades and these shades down here, and that'll be a nice little eye look for you. So overall, I think this would be a perfect Valentine's Day palette just because it has all these pink and purple and reddish tones, and those are tones people usually go for when it comes to Valentine's Day. So I recommend it and I really like it. I know it's sold out right now. It was $36 on Midas's website. But when they get it back in stock, if they restock it, I definitely think you should get your hands on it because the formula is actually quite nice on it as well. I wasn't expecting that. It was my first time ever trying Midas. I just knew I needed that color story in my life, and it was really similar to Natasha, and I wanted to compare it to that as well. So that's another thing. Keep trying to see if the camera's on. Sorry. So next I have Strawberry Dream from UOMA Beauty. I feel like you should have known this was in here, was going to be in here, as much as I talk about this palette. Now I know it's not quite that heavy when it comes to Valentine's Day colors, but I feel like you have this whole row to work with, and then you have this nice little pink right here. So I feel like this could be a good Valentine's Day palette. Of course, I love the fact that this palette, you know, has the pop of blue effect, because we know I love me a good pop of blue. But overall, I feel like it would be good for Valentine's Day just because you have all of these. And then you have this nice little dark purplish, smokiest type shade to darken your outer V, and then you do more of a plum look, or you can take some of these shimmers up here and just use this matte, or you can be bold and use this pink. And it's just a great quality palette. Now I have seen it on the clearance rack on Sephora every now and again, but I feel like UOMA Beauty is leaving Sephora, and that's why I haven't seen any of the other stuff there. Also, I did end up ordering the Eclipse palette just because it was 20% off on Beauty Bank, and I told you all if it went on sale I would buy it, but I wasn't going to buy it at a regular price just because, you know, I have plenty of palettes, and it wasn't something I need to rush to get, especially with the color story. It's like a neutral palette with like a row of pop of blue instead of just like 2 pops of blue like this purple one I just showed you. So anyway, the next palette I have is the Berries and Cream palette from Mented Cosmetics. Okay, y'all, Adriangameover has come to join us for a moment. Let me see, is the camera still on? Adrian?
Yes.
Okay, so this is what the Berries and Creams look like. I love this palette. When it first came out, if you all remember, I gave it a great review. I was obsessed with this palette. I think it's a gorgeous palette in that it has those nice berry tones, and then it has like other tones for you to create multiple looks. That's why I always appreciate when palettes do a theme but still have other colors for you to choose from when you don't necessarily want to use that theme, but you just like the quality of their product. For example, like I love this shade right here, Bittersweet, and I love Blueberry Muffin, but it's like if I didn't want to do necessarily a blue or purple look, I still have, you know, like the simple browns and things like that to come up with an everyday look. Like you could still use chocolate mousse, you could just toast it on top of it, and then you could use like honey dipped or sugar cookie, or put honey dipped on the lid and sugar cookie in the inner corner, and have your nice little everyday look in addition to having all these berry tones for when you want to do something more romantic and smoky berry vibes. So that's why I really like this palette, and that's why I put it in here. So those are the 10 palettes I had to recommend to you. Now let's get on to my honorable mentions, because I can't just make a video without honorable mentions. I don't know what my problem is. I need to get my life in order. Yes, I know. We need to have a come in Jesus moment, but it ain't gonna be today. So let me get into those. So I'll start off with the Amrezy palette, because I feel like because this is mainly neutral tones, I would put it in a Valentine's Day category, but because of the pink sparkly packaging and the shade Cupcake, oh my god, y'all, the shade Cupcake is everything to me. I don't really care about Barb. I know what's her name, Paulina Beauty really talks about the shade Barb. I don't really care about that one. Cupcake is my shade right here, and this shade right here. But because all this other stuff is mainly like neutral shades that you've seen a million times over from Anastasia Beverly Hills, that's why I didn't include it as a like top 10 for me. It's just an honorable mention because if you can see, it's quite neutral heavy. It only has a few pops. I don't know why I got cut off, so I'm going to talk about the Natasha Denona mini palette again. So this palette is, it's fine and all that. Like the quality of it isn't bad or anything. This is the first mini I bought just because I was skeptical after the first one she came out with was not the business at all. Sorry, the first 2 she came out with was not the business at all from what I heard from avid Natasha Denona fans like myself that I trust. But this is a nice palette. I wouldn't say anything bad about it. It's just realistically you got to think about it. I already own the Love palette, so to me this isn't like an essential thing. However, if you were looking to get the Love palette and then you saw the price and you were like, no, I'm 65, no ma'am, I feel like this would be a great addition to your collection if you just want some simple pretty Valentine's tones for Valentine's Day and Sweetest Day and things like that, and you prefer to buy neutral palettes. This would be a great addition to you because you can use this purple right here for your outer V shade and deepen things up. You can dust this one into the crease, and then you can use one of these shimmers on the lid, and then one of these shimmers in the inner corner. Have a nice little Valentine's and Sweetest Day look for when you want those romantic vibes, but you want a quality product and you don't want to spend a whole bunch of money on it. Because to me, that's all this is. This is like for someone who wants to try Natasha Denona but doesn't want to spend the $65 because they still feel that that's too high, and obviously don't want to spend the $129. This would be a great palette for you, and that's why I'm putting it as an honorable mention, because I don't think it's bad. It's just more of when you already own the full-size Love palette and it has way more shades in it, and I'm a person who prefers more shades, not too many but a good amount, then I just think it's an honorable mention, not necessarily a, you know, top 10 for me. The next one I have is the Rose Decadence palette. So this is in here because I ran out of space, honestly, and because the quality of this to me isn't as great as some of her other palettes. Like the Risque Rose quad is made in Italy, which is why it was in the top 10 as opposed to a honorable mention, whereas this one is made in the USA, if I remember correctly. I'm trying to see. Yeah, it was made in the USA just like her last quad was. And it's not like I don't like this color story, it's just more of she has so many other romantic rosy vibes that I like better, like Risque Rose. So it was like I like this one, but I don't like it enough to say it's a top 10 for me. So that's why it's an honorable mention. Like I love this shade right here, and Fuchsia Flame right here. This is one of my all-time favorite shades from her. Like this shade right here, honey, it is gorgeous, it's wonderful, it's magical, it's all those good things. Fuchsia Flame right here. Now when she was making singles, I wish she would make this a single. This is a gorgeous shade. I would just like to have this individually, so when I go out traveling I could take some of my cheaper quads with me, and then I could have that shade as my pop of color when I want to have those romantic purple vibes. But I like this. This is currently on sale on Sephora's website for $32.50. That's another reason I wanted to put it in here and recommend it to you, because it's not like it's a bad palette. It's just more of because I own the whole Rose Divine Rose collection. I have Divine Rose, Divine Rose 2. I have Risque Rose. I have this Rose Decadence, and then I have the new quad she just came out with. Like, if I had to pick, I would pick other things. But if you want to try some Pat McGrath, I wouldn't discourage you to try this. It's just going to be more of a personal preference thing, and when you own the whole collection and can choose from a lot of things, I feel like I'm just going to choose other things over that, and I chose the one that I showed you over that one. That's all. So the last one I have is Ritualistic Rose from Pat McGrath. Now this is just a topper one, which is another reason it's honorable mention. It has nothing to do with quality, because these, if you're a Pat McGrath owner, you know these are like the best quad she ever came out with. The one she came out with during Christmas time was cute and all. Like, I like Interstellar Icon, I love Rose Risque, but it's just like this right here. Look at this sparkly awesomeness. I feel like this would be a good palette just to add to your collection when you do want to have romantic moments, or if you just like really pinky tones, this would be good for that. Then you have this nice one bronzy shade for when you want to, you know, do your smoky eye and have an extra pop on the lid, and this is a good inner corner shade for all the shades in here. So I feel like this was curated very well, and this you can definitely add to any of your Pat McGrath palettes. So it's like if you buy that Rose Decadence palette, you could add this to your collection and add some extra sparkle, or you could just add it to your collection for the extra sparkle, because to me this is definitely worth the investment. And she always has sales on her website recently, and you can always get 10% off with the code obsessed10 if I remember correctly. So it's like you can get this at a discount with the 10%. It might be 55, don't quote me. I know this is 65 because it's the special shade formula, but this is definitely one I tell you to get. If I didn't tell you to get any other honorable mentions, I would tell you to get the 2 Pat McGrath ones for sure. But it all depends on what brand you're looking into trying and what your preference is when it comes to eyeshadow. So those are my favorite romantic palette recommendations. I hope you all enjoyed this video. Remember, you all are diamond. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye.